It seems we never get to touch the topic on how to profit from the logical use of time, so we can't stop it.
You see my feet? Don't move, why?
Let's go. Okay.
Show it to them. You got it?
Yeah.
All right, look. Put it back.
Put it.
Yeah, you can put it here. Look, we'll cut it inside, okay? Like this, all right? And then we'll put these into the box, just like this, all right?
Okay.
Right in the box, okay? Hold the box lightly towards the bottom, right here, lightly. Just think of your card. Hold it looser, but don't let it fall to the ground. Just looser, yeah. Let go even more. Just don't let it fall to the ground. Keep thinking. Let go. Hold it on the sides even. Yeah, keep thinking. Keep thinking. Look, one card. Look at the one card that's protruding the most. Looser, even looser. Even looser. Look. Look. Take it out. Grab it.
That's your car?
Yes. Oh shit. I can't believe this man. You saw it, man. You saw it, Jasmine, right? You saw it, right?
Hold both your hands out for me. Okay, get rid of your right hand. Make a fist with your left hand, not too hard. Make a fist, not too hard though. Let me see the cigarette. You know the guys that used to do, I won't touch you, I won't burn you. Remember the guys that used to do the voodoo? Look, tell me if you feel that. Do you feel anything right now? Do you feel anything? Look, I'm gonna rub it in. See how it looks like it fades away?
Yeah.
Right? You see how it looks like it's fading? Tell me if you feel this, ready? Feel that? Look inside of your hand.
No, you're not right. You're not right. Young man, it's ashes in the palm of my. You saw it, right? You saw it, right? Oh, Paul's still in my pocket. This man ain't right. He ain't right. He ain't right. He's not right.
He floated.
He's not floated.
That's all. He floated. That's all. Did you see a float? Did you get a float? Because he floated. It wasn't no TV scam. He floated.
I think it's like you get a gut feeling, and like, because I've read up on this stuff, some of it, and it's just like, he came back and I was like, are you all right? And he's like, I'm fine.
He's from somewhere else. He's probably
This
an alien.
ain't right.
This ain't right. This ain't right. I mean, that was unbelievable. I mean, there's like no strings attached, and he just all of a sudden just came up off the ground and he came back down. But he was like, that's just, wow.
He didn't have nothing to hold on to. There's something wrong with this bitch. I can't believe this man. This is a shock. That man made my heart beat fast. That's nice.
I'm never going to forget this day. And it's my 18th birthday. Man floated on my 18th birthday. I'm never going to get this day.
Let me ask you a question. Do you have any wishes?
I'd like to win the lottery.
Here's money. Buy any 3 instant tickets right now. Any 3 instant tickets and bring them out. What I want you to do is I want you to pick any one of those tickets that you like. Just choose one, yeah, and get rid of the other 2. You like that one?
Yeah, I like this.
All right, good. What is that, high stakes?
High stakes.
This is a lucky gold coin. Now we're gonna see if you're gonna win right now. Scratch it.
Sure.
Scratch it on the surface. You know how to do it, yeah. 3 like amounts, you win. Wait, look at this. It says get this symbol and win all 10 prizes automatically. You got that symbol. That means you just won 250, 500, 600, 7, 850, 950, 1050, 1150, 1250, 1350, 1450, $1,600 you just won.
I just won $1,600.
You just won $1,600.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, show us what you got. Yeah.
Now, that's dangerous, dude.
No, don't worry. That's all you, man. You've won. That's yours. Put it away.
I just met the man. I was sitting there doing my thing. Thank you very much,
Yeah,
sir.
man.
Pleasure
Good.
meeting you. Have a good day,
All right,
sir.
my brother.
God bless you.
Start with some new luck.
Hopefully it will be.
Good.
Thank you very much, sir. Pleasure meeting you all. Have a good day, folks.
Take care, man.
Thank you very much.
Take care, brother. All right. Let me show you something.
Oh, is it?
Let me show you. No, come here. Move your hand.
Oh, God.
No, take the top off. Take the top off. Take the top off. It's okay. Don't burn yourself. Take the top off to hold that. Let me show you something. Look, taste the coffee. Make sure it's not too hot. It's okay. Look, as God is the witness. Look, let go. I'll hold it. Ready? Watch. You see? Starting to go, I see.
Oh,
Oh,
you do that
look.
one. Oh, guys. That's your magic. There's a
This is for
spark.
you.
Oh, you son
That's
of a
for
gun.
you.
Oh, thank you, guys. That's the best, cat. There's a spark of magic in your eyes. Can I see your face?
Yeah, hold your hands up for me. Yeah, just like that. Like this.
Muchas gracias.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much. Mucho. Okay.
I was curious how they would respond in Haiti, a culture which is deeply rooted in magic. You squeeze tight. Squeeze tight. Tight. Good. You have two of these. Ask them to think of any number. Hold you. 1 to 10, yeah.
N'importe numéro, choisis un. Non, un, oui.
2. 1, 2.
Get vale. That's on me. Me degoyo.
Squeeze, son. Squeeze, like this, tight. Squeeze, tight. You do it, squeeze like this, tight. Tight. Squeeze like this. Squeeze. Help squeeze. Tell her to squeeze. Like this. A squeeze like this. Look. Yeah. Ask her if she feels that. You feel? You feel it starting to go? Open.
You break my sense. I need it. I need my sense.
Here, look at one thing. It's not, look, it's not black magic. It's not, but it's not bad. Oh, yes, no, it's okay. It is good.
No, for you, not for me.
No, it is good for you, because it's fun. Look. Wait, look, I'm an entertainer. I entertain. You know, not black magic, though. I just entertain. You see one? You have one in your mind? Yeah? Okay. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it to anyone. Don't say it. No, but don't say it. No, don't say it. Don't say it. Okay, look. You're thinking of a card, right? Think of any card that you want. Yeah? You're thinking of a card? You're thinking of a card?
You're right.
6 of clubs. That was what he was thinking of. In your mind
Can you
only.
learn in my mind?
It's different than you think.
C'est de magie.
It's not what you think it is.
Oh wow.
I'ma hold his fingers like that. What magic have you seen here?
Voodoo.
Voodoo. Yeah, what? What have you seen? What have you seen?
Comme si
What?
vous avez un petit rameau dans sous. Ils sont encore. Sont qu'on est encore. Moi le gars au cap voler.
What's that?
Des vampires.
People flying? Yeah. What else? In Haiti, magic and voodoo are considered the same thing.
La jeunesse engagée ou tellement gain en pile bagaille pour proposer. T'as les wavini team qui musique pour moi jouer. Réponds-moi, t'en prie. Réponds-moi. 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 Réponds-moi, non. Ça qui rit mes femmes, yo tourné cafetière. Qu'est-ce ça fait, les voisins, joue que yo vin ou en gâté. Faut choisir, oh oui. Tout ça pas marché drette, gain les pas bien en tête. Mais qu'est-ce ça, bon chrétien, parce que yo baille la quête. Gain nous-mêmes l'en mi-temps, cap chercher ça pour fait. Réponds-moi.
Hello, Sid Roth here. Welcome to my world, where it's naturally supernatural. I mean, I don't know any other life. I wouldn't want to live any other life. My guest is a fourth-generation voodoo priest. According to my notes, it's amazing. At 4, you start taking drugs. Your brothers are selling. At 5, you see your grandmother use voodoo against someone, and what happened?
He dropped over, just keeled over. And that's really what started me being interested in it, because I said, wow, what a lot of power for somebody to say a few words and a grown man just fall over backwards. And that started me getting interested in it, because I didn't even know that, there was that much power in it. Except what I saw on TV as a child. But now actually seeing it with my own eyes was like, wow, I wanted some of that.
Did you try it?
Oh, yes.
At that young age?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
What happened?
When I said the words that I heard, it felt like something started swirling around and got on the inside of me, and these things got inside of me, and I became possessed, and it started a spiral of going downhill from then on.
What happened when your dad brought home a witch to mentor you? What was she mentoring you for?
She told me that I, being from Haitian background, and that I was to be sent down to Haiti to work on the Papa Doc Duvalier, to be raised up under the president of that country, to control the people through voodoo. And so at the time, I was for it, because that power thing, and I was preparing myself to go.
What was your preparation like? How many hours a day did you put into this?
Well, not so much the day, mainly the night, because I didn't get much sleep. Because there's something about what they call the bewitching hour, which like 12 o'clock to maybe 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, which a lot of the evil things are being, you learn a lot.
Well, she would give you, this witch would give you the names of demons that would then inflict harm on people?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
So you would just call out this name, and then evil would happen to people.
You can send things to people.
You were, what, the 7th child?
Mm-hmm.
But did that have significance?
Yeah. They, in voodoo, they deal with numbers just like we do it as Christians, but they copy everything that God has. So they wanted the 7th child. Me being the 7th child, they picked me.
How come you didn't go there?
One day, my dad, the witch, and myself, the witch packed my suitcase from a little brown bag. She packed it. She said, "This is a day for you. I'm going to take you into Manhattan and put you on a boat, and we're all going to sail down to Port-au-Prince."
Did you want to do this?
Yeah, I wanted to do it because I was into power at that time, because I was watching some things happen. Man, some things really take place in that realm. And when she told me that I can have free course down in Haiti, I was all for it. With the power, with the money, with the control, being a child, being over a lot of grown-ups, stuff like that, that sort of excited me. And when the day came for her to take me away, they was going to sneak me out the back door, put me in the car, and take me into Manhattan, put me on the ship. I was going to sail down into Port-au-Prince. My mother came out of nowhere. I mean, came out of nowhere. She saw us sneaking out the house, and she said, "Where are you taking my baby?" And the witch said, "It's no longer your child. He belongs to me." And my mother said, "Oh, no way." And my mother grabbed me by the arm and was pulling me. And the witch was pulling me, and I was going back and forth like a tug of war. And something happened to where they got me away from my mother. They were going towards the back door. And before they can get me out the back door, it's like they both saw something that was so big and it scared them. They let me go, and they ran out the door. And I don't know what they saw, but I believe it was my mother was praying, and God must have sent an angel that prevented them from taking me down to Port-au-Prince. One particular time I had a couple of friends of mine who went and got saved. And I mean, they were really saved. And I didn't like the idea they got saved, because I felt like they left me there in that realm. And so I sent out a couple of spirits after them. And I said, "You go there and you curse them. You destroy everything they're doing." Those little spirits came back to me, and they said, "We can't touch them." I said, "Go back and put a curse on them. I command you, orders you to do so." And they came back to me again and said, "We can't touch them. They're protected." So I astral project out of my own body, and I went to see the reason why I tell these spirits, and they come back. And I know I've sent them to do other things, and they never had a problem. So I went to see for myself, and when I got there, I saw the two brothers who were walking around this particular place, and I saw these 7, almost 8-foot tall angels with swords was protecting them everywhere they went. And I said, wow, that's the reason why those spirits came back and couldn't do anything. These guys got something way stronger than I have. These guys were protected. I mean, protected by giant angels.
Demons told this 15-year-old kid how to get high. Their intent was to kill him. He had 4 different drug combinations in large quantities, and he took it, and he passes out, and his buddies, what'd they do? Take you in a car, and what did they want to do with you?
Just take me home.
What happened?
Well, on the way home, I died. And these group of spirits came out, the same ones that were talking to me, came out and grabbed me, snatched me out of my body, and was pulling me down. I mean, I was going down into a pit. And then when I got to this pit, they started tormenting me. It looked like they was coming from everywhere. They were in my mouth, they were in my eyes, they were hitting me with all kinds of things. They were yelling and telling me that I worked for them, and it was a trap and a setup, and you did all our bidding for us, and now you're in hell. And it was a horrible thing. And
were you really in hell?
I was in hell. Hell's a real place for sure. It's real.
Huh.
It is real. It's not made for us. It's designed and made for the devil and his angels. And that's where I wind up at. That overdose of drugs was a trick from the pits of hell. To get the drugs were a trick to set me up, to stop my heart, to get me lost for eternity.
What did you see?
Oh, I saw all kinds of horror, miserable. It's a lonely, miserable, ugly, stinky, sulfur-smelling, nasty, pitiful, horrible place that you can't even hardly describe it.
Did you hear people say anything?
Oh, you can hear all kinds of promises and people screaming and yells and sounds that just torment 24 hours, 7 days a week of nothing but misery and torment. And I was down there amongst them with them and all that torment. But there was some hands of light came down inside of that place, in that pit that I was in, and grabbed me by my shoulders and started pulling me out of there. And I could see, and even as I was pulling out of there, said those spirits were still trying to hold on to me, saying, he's ours, he belonged to us. But that hand of light pulled me and took me out of there and put me back in my body. And it says, because of your mother's prayers, that's what I'll never forget, you were spared. And because you were chosen to do a work for us. But he kept saying, because of your mother's prayers.
Who was saying this?
That was God's voice. That was God who said, because of your mother's prayers. And that's what I heard. And then I sat up and I said, oh God, I've been to hell. And at that point, I didn't even know to thank God because I was so wicked, that's such a wizard and everything like that. But I knew that something had happened.
But you were still, you were kind of messed up physically as a result.
I was messed up really bad. I was messed up, and my mind was messed up, the optic nerve, because it messed up parts of my body. I realized I couldn't walk. And so when I came back into my body, the people that was driving the car, they opened the car door and they said, get out. And I tried to walk, but I fell over to the ground because the lower extremities didn't work. And so I had to pull the top of my body all the way up the stairs. Then I rang the doorbell, and one of my sisters came to the door, and us, bringing from that background, they know an overdose because we had many people to die and overdose in and around us. And she could tell.
Okay, shortly thereafter, one of your sisters invites you to church. Mm-hmm. You're doing drug deals. Mm-hmm. I mean, even seeing how could you still be doing drug deals?
Messed up in the mind.
Okay, so you go. Why did you even go with your sister?
Because she kept telling me, you need to be saved. And at that time, I didn't want anything, even though I just went to hell. But there was a big shipment of drugs coming in, and my cut was $1 million. And at 15 years old, $1 million, could have bought an extra hamburger or something, so.
Okay, you get into that church. I mean, this is the only word I can come with. This is crazy. You get into this church. What happens?
I get into the church. I'm sitting in the back. She convinced me to go. I'm real mad because I didn't want to be around Pentecostal or anything. I'm real mad, and I said, sit me in the back. So she sits me in the back. And the preacher is preaching, and I said, okay, good, I'm finished. The next night, she said, oh, you going back? I said, no, I'm not going back to church no more. I'm finished with church. And get out here, I got the drug deal, big one, the real big one, the biggest one we ever had. She said, no, you're going to church. So I said, okay, I'll go to church. About 2 or 3 days of that, the preacher said, hey, you back in the back, young man. And I didn't know he was talking to me. I thought he was talking to somebody else. So everybody in the church turns around. So I turned around too and said, hey, young man, he's talking to you. But there wasn't nobody else back there but me. I said, oh man, he's talking to me. And so he said, come up here in the front. God wants to save you. And I said, oh man, I got mad. I said, I don't want this Jesus stuff. You know, I got things to do. But I heard a voice that I never heard before. He says, I love you. Remember when you had the gun to your head and the gun wouldn't go off, but it went up in the air? He said, that was me. You remember when you were almost killed? You remember you were set up to do this and that drug deal went bad and this, that, and another. He said, all those times I saved you, I spared you. He said, come up here, I want to save you and use you. And I got out of that seat, went to the front, and the pastor told me everything that I've been, he told me like he was there with me as I was growing up. He gave me all, I mean, he just read everything off to me. So you were this, you put curses on people, you did that. He told me everything. I said, how'd you know all of that? You don't know me. You know, but it was God that told him. And at that time, God was speaking to me too at the same time. He said, I'll use you. I could do more for you. And I said, hold it, God, hold it, hold it. I said, you know what I do. I do bad things to people. I said, but if you want me, you're going to have to do more for me than I was for the devil, because I'm a wicked person. I put curses on people and they die, and I do bad stuff. But thanks be to God, Sid. He saved me. It's like a ton of bricks fell off of me. And I tell you, he's been using me ever since.
Do you know who the real hero is?
Oh, thank you,
the
Jesus.
real hero of Earthquake Kelly's story is his mom. If
Yes.
you had known the beating she went through and how she tenaciously held on to God for Earthquake's life, let's go to a pre-recorded telephone call we had with her.
I am a mother of 10 children, 5 boys and 5 girls. And so I'd like to say now to the mothers, please do not give up. Pray for your children. We need the children. The children are blessings from the Lord. God is such a loving Father, and He listens to what we say. He knows our hearts. He has our feelings. There's always a God that stands waiting with His arms stretched out. He loves you. He'll hear your prayers, and He will take care of your children. Father God, bless the mothers with a mind stayed on Him. Amen.
You may say, well, that's wonderful. I don't have a mother that is praying for me like that. I don't have a hero that is calling and pleading with God. Well, maybe you don't. I come from a Jewish background. You better believe my mother wasn't praying to God for me, but someone somewhere did. I pray in Yeshua, in Jesus' name, that you would feel God's embrace. I pray for you that you would know the love of God and experience the shalom, the peace of God that passes any drug or any experience you have ever had. It's what you're created for, to have intimacy with God. Intimacy with God through Jesus. That's the deal. Take it. Grab it.
What you're looking at is the painting of Christ, not painted by human hands. This is known all over Europe as the painting of Christ, not painted by human hands. This is one of the world's best kept secrets. They have this painting in the Vatican City, all over Rome, Italy, France, Russia, Switzerland, all over, even in the United States. And at the bottom it says, angels surround the Christ figure in this Orthodox painting as he descends from the sky in a circular globe. What made this artist from the 16th century, who was an Israelite, render such a scene? As you see, everybody there are black. Christ, the angels, the apostles. The angels are black men. flying saucers in the Holy Bible.
Time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping into the future. I wanna fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle, let my spirit carry me. I want to fly like an eagle till I'm free. I go through the revolution, feed the babies who don't have enough to eat. Shoe the children with no shoes on their feet. House the people living in the street.
Wow.
Did you see that?
No way.
Now is it changing direction? It almost looks like it's heading east.
Well, Chip said look to the east. Bring it on. More.
Oh, there's another one moving in the opposite direction.
Wow.
Ah, there it is. Whoa, look at it, look at it.
There's the power up.
Holy
That was the power up. You see it?
Did you guys see it light up?
Yeah.
Very nice.
All right.
Is that it still moving right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to point out that James did say at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, what time is it?
10 o'clock.
Yeah, they're gone. Wow, that was pretty amazing. Whatever that was pretty cool.
You know, I think one of the amazing things is that you said they're coming from the east. And then I told the whole crew here that they're coming at 10 o'clock. And sure enough, right at 10, they appeared to the east, closer to the mountain, right on cue. And we both had that communication.
I definitely saw things in the sky last night that I cannot understand. I cannot identify flying objects. So historically, you know that this place is a hot spot for UFO activity. Dave said he saw something, and then of course you have James claiming there's unusual, unexplained lights in the sky, and I think we've all seen that. So, what do you guys think? Something weird's going on, or what?
Whatever's flying up in the sky, we know that that is legitimate. And the fact that there's something flying up there. By definition, it is an identified flying object. But I think it's very important not to make the jump from UFO to extraterrestrial. Those are two very different things.
Yep.
It doesn't take away from the fact that there is a lot of weird stuff flying in the sky. And to cover the entire sky at 180 degrees in 6 minutes, I don't know what we have that can move that fast. Satellites are very slow. That's the thing too. If you look at satellites, they're extremely slow. They take forever to get across. So I think you can make a compelling argument that there are unidentified flying objects that are flying around the
Again, according to the story that I heard, is that a man was trying to check his camera in a cemetery to see how good the camera was. That's what I heard. And he took this photograph where after he checked the photograph and he was able to see this. Again, what would be the reason just to hoax this? The pixels in the creature are the same from the rest of the image, which means that this was not hoaxed, but it could be also a dummy. But now we have, what, 3 cases?
We've seen how strange things can get at night. Well, things are about to get a whole lot stranger. This mysterious driver tricks cops into thinking he's about to pull over, then all hell breaks loose. The officers watching this tape get only a quick glimpse of the man behind the wheel. It's the last look they'll get. For a moment, it appears as if the driver and his car have disappeared into thin air. But in the blink of an eye, the driver comes into view again. This time, he tries to outrun the police rather than just vanish. His moves are still baffling to the police as he swerves all over the road, driving like a man possessed. And just when he's really thrown the cops for a loop, he gets back on a straightaway, showing off a seemingly supernatural speed.
We're still approaching 16.
In just a moment, he's going to make a turn into the Twilight Zone. Watch. A fence at the end means no way out, or does it? Even watching it again, cops are unable to make sense of it. All they see is an intact fence and nothing more than the vanishing taillights of what the Garden City PD has come to call the ghost car.
Elettronica, figura la era atomina.
He went with coffee.
He went with coffee.
Image synthétique, forme esthétique, l'art poétique, à l'âge atomique. Musique rythmique, son électronique, l'art politique, à l'âge atomique.
Electric coffee.
Musique rythmique, son électronique, l'art politique, à l'âge atomique. Culture physique.
Out of the sky, one day came terrible objects. They were like gigantic bows made of huge gleaming gold. They were shaped like bows without strings, and they were bigger than the biggest mountains. They came out of the sky bringing great noise, black smoke, and fire with them. And out of those huge objects came them. When the Chitawuli arrived in Africa, they told our people that they were gods and that they were going to give us human beings great gifts on one condition. We had to worship them and accept them as our creators. Some told our people that they were our elder brothers and that this earth had produced them generations ago. And they said they had come back to the green womb of their mother and that they were going to make us into gods. We are going to make you into gods. And the human beings agreed to serve the Chitauri. And the Chitauri gave human beings a second gift, the gift of language. People started talking with their tongues where they had talked with their minds before. And there was a big rubbish starting again, because this man did not know the language of that man. And when this man greeted that man, this man thought that he was being insulted, and so a lot of murder and culpable homicide started taking place all over the world. When our people were given language, they found to their horror that they had lost much of their mental powers. They had paid a terrible price. But the Chitauri were now the masters of human beings. They made them, the human beings, to go into holes in the ground and to mine metal, gold, copper, tin, all kinds of metal. The Chitauri forced our people to mine. Until one day, Nzarantwari activated a black hero called Mweru. And Mweru challenged the great chief of the serpent people to a fight. And he cut off the royal penis of the king of the snake people. And that caused a big war. Mweru ran away. But Umbaba, the terrible chief of the people, caught him and arrested him and brought him to his village. And there, the great chief Korontwari Umbaba said, "Look, you cut off my thing, and I have replaced it with one made of gold, and I can't make love to my wife anymore. You think too much, you wretched little human being."
You're saying exactly the same as I've come across. It's incredible confirmation that a reptilian race from another world has been behind the manipulation of humanity for a very, very long time. Now, what do these Chitahuli actually look like, the reptiles?
I'm not a good artist, sir.
You're better than me, that's for sure.
But this is how we believe the Chitauri look like. They were created in this. You see, sir, you white people say that there are alien beings on this earth. No, you are wrong. The earth in which we live has produced 24 different races during its long existence. Please, sir, this is how a Chitauri looks like. It stands about 11 feet high. It is a very slender being which seems not to have a bone structure. Its fingers have no joints. They are more as if the bones in here were flexible. Some of the Chitauri have got 3 claws with a thumb. Some have got 6 claws with a thumb. And some of the Chitauris have got horns on their heads. And what surprises me is this. Some film producers, like the producers who make the film Star Wars, often show creatures in their films which actually exist, which even the most uneducated of Africans who knows this Chitauri can identify. For example, There is a creature who amazes me called Darth Maul. Darth Maul is a red and black being with a ring of small horns right round his head. That is exactly what the cheetah woolly look like. Some have got ordinary heads without any horns on their heads. These are the lesser cheetah woolly. But the royal cheetah woolly have got a ring of sharp horns all around their heads. And the very high cheetah woolly, like their king, Mubaba Samahongo, they have got very long horns which grow this way. Not that way like a bull, but this way like certain antelopes. Now, I just wonder where these film producers get their information from. And in one strange film, which my student called me to come and watch, the thing called Stargate 2. Mm-hmm. And in that film, there was a creature, a very slimy, cream-colored creature with heavy wrinkles on its face. It was a spitting likeness of Mubaba Samahongo, the terrible emperor of the cheetah woolly.
Well, clearly there's a tremendous amount of knowledge of what's been going on and what is going on, which comes out symbolically through films and areas of communication like Hollywood. But the thing that I'm totally stunned the more I talk to you about this is because I've been all over the world having people give me descriptions of seeing reptilian type figures, particularly people in positions of power in the world, changing into a reptilian figure and coming back again. And what they describe seeing is exactly what the knowledge of ancient Africa talks about seeing. We're talking about the same people there, which is an astonishing confirmation. And the eyes is something that keeps coming up being described. Yes. Tell me about the eyes of the Chitahuli.
Say, a warrior Chitahuli has got eyes like a snake. These eyes are yellowish with split pupils, and they glow in darkness. So if a Chitahuli, a warrior Chitahuli, one of the lesser classes, is hiding in a cave, you can see its eyes burning. But a royal Chitahuli has got 3 eyes. It's got the yellow eyes, which glow in a strange, almost ice-like way, like jewels, like certain types of yellow jewel. And then they have got an eye in the center of their foreheads, an eye which doesn't close up down like a normal eye does, but which closes from side to side and which opens this way. Now this eye of the Chitahuli is the eye that kills, because it can knock a man down just by the fire, the glare that comes out of it.
Is this where the constant recurring theme of the evil eye comes from?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. In fact, Mubaba, the emperor of the Chitahuli, who is said to be still alive today, Mubaba has got a central eye. His other 2 eyes were stitched shut by a jealous wife. But his killing eye, the Samahongo, the terrible red eye, opens. He can even open it like this. Minister David, I would like to share a little thing with you. It is this: the best way to protect an evil thing is to deny its existence. And if you talk about things such as the Chitauri, if you talk about things such as the Mandinda, there are many people who say to you, rubbish, this thing does not exist. Now, in this way, this great evil is protected by being denied. We must stop denying the existence of these things. We must stop saying that there are no Chitauri, that there are no aliens, that there are no Illuminati. There are. I could tell you for hours. For example, do you know what we Zulu people call a person? A very, very clever person, a very, very wise person, a person who has received light from God. We call him umkhanyiselwa, in other words, the illuminated one. Khanyisa means to light up something, and umkhanyiselwa is somebody who has been lighted up by the gods. So you say Illuminati, I say umkhanyiselwa. It's the same thing.
And my research very clearly, and again, you're right, there's tremendous denial of this is the fact. Even among conspiracy researchers, there's tremendous denial that the Chitahuli, the reptilians, and the Illuminati are actually the same thing.
Exactly the same. I know things which I shouldn't know, and it started at that time. Now, you see, sir, I want to know, what am I? Since that terrible time, my life as a man was really messed up. And one day let me tell you, sir, since that time, I have become a very confused creature. It's embarrassing, really. But since that terrible day, I became bisexual, which to me as an African is very, very disgusting. Since that time, my mind doesn't seem to be my own. I think about things that a man like me shouldn't bother himself about. I worry about people. It's sickening. I have ruined my life because of worrying about people. I feel that I want to take every human being on this earth by the shoulders, shake them roughly and say, listen, Pastor, there is more to this earth than you think.
For example, when Central America was devastated by the hurricanes when I was president, we spent almost $1 billion of the taxpayers' money out of their pockets. And if I could just make one other point about that, because you asked if it was a worldwide effort. Because of the internet and because you can make contributions over the net, a small amount of cash pooled with others can do an enormous amount of good. You had AOL and Apple, for example, using their position on the internet to help collect small contributions. I think AOL put together about $7.5 million in small contributions in a day.
And President Bush, it's cash over items, right? If you're going to give...
Right now it is. Larry, right now that's true. President Clinton and I accompanied the president when he went to pay his respects. We all did. signing the books at the various four embassies of the countries that were affected. And all of them made clear that the best thing you can do is to send money at this time as opposed to goods, because there's no delivery problem. Sometimes the goods can be acquired in a neighborhood nearby, or sometimes the goods that might be sent from here might not be exactly what's needed. The medicine might be different. So we've concluded that the best thing to do is, as President Clinton said a minute ago, to give to these organizations or send it into usafreedom.gov and freedomcorps.gov and let them help distribute it. But the main thing is, it's better at this juncture to send cash, and I think they all agreed with that, the embassies.
Yeah, Larry, let me just give you an example. If you look at the pictures of the airport in Colombo in Sri Lanka, it's full. You literally, I don't know how they're going to get all the crates off of the airport site that they have. There's a wonderful Buddhist temple here in New York where the monks have been. I think that's his decision, but you know, I know what he's thinking now. If he went now, he'd just be in the way. And I know he would, because, you know, you'd have to take all the Secret Service people. You'd have to take up all these helicopters that could be otherwise out there delivering supplies. And I think it's the wise decision now to send Secretary Powell and Governor Bush and the FEMA director and whoever else went, and let them look, make reports, and then provide the help that's necessary. It might be that sometime in the next couple of months he would want to go. I went to the refugee camps in Turkey, but not right away. If I had gone right away, I would have been in the way of the...
Focus on space, the United States of space, because I ain't stopping at the moon. Write this down. M-A-R-S. That's where we are going. Mars. Red rocks. Yay, yay!
Lost without a chance. Go find eternity. Don't tell what you see. Lies and truth side by side. Glazed eyes crimson high. Anti-love is the word. No others ever heard. Alleys of your minds, of your minds, of your minds. Paranoid
Tell me about Mars. What happened?
Okay. Mars, very, very interesting experience. It occurred, first of all, in October of 1996. I was visited by some entities who looked very human. And by the way, many of my experiences, I'm interacting with human-looking beings.
Okay.
There were about, I'd say 3 women that came into my room and escorted me out. Now, some of my travel is not always in a ship. Sometimes it's projection, astral projection, whereby my astral body is leaving the physical body behind. But I felt as though I was being astrally pulled out. And then what I believe occurs is I dematerialize and rematerialize physically in another location. So that's the impression I was having, or actual experience I was having with the Mars experience. I was spiritually pulled out and then physically rematerialized once on the planet. But however, in this process, I went through what felt like a tunnel to get to. I didn't take a ship. I was thrust through a black tunnel, so to speak, similar to the afterlife experiences you've heard about and read about. So after going through that, I was suddenly found myself in a laboratory setting, and I was again rematerialized. I felt physical. I felt very much in that whole environment of physicality because I was being examined. Quite often I'm being examined in these experiences, heart and lungs and chest and all of those things, blood pressure and all of those things. And so I found myself in a laboratory hospital-like setting, and I was interacting with beings that composed of all different races, Caucasian and African American, not African, at least black anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So
not African.
Anyway, I was being experimented on, and I decided I'm going to try to strike up a conversation with these entities because that's what you do. When you're meeting with people you don't know, you try to make small talk. So I thought about what on earth could I think to talk about to these beings. So I remembered that a rock had been found in I think it was Antarctica. And on this rock were small microorganisms that
Right. The meteorite.
Okay, yes. And that proved to our scientists, that was a big exciting news. And that proved to our scientists that life could have existed millions and millions of years ago. So I remember that story, and I decided to share it with this individual who was a Caucasian male who was examining me. So I shared this whole story with him. He didn't say very much. He didn't respond or react that it was, great, big, exciting news that I thought it was anyway. And he simply responded, "We are well aware of your findings." And that was it. It's almost like that's no big deal. And then when I thought about it, it may have looked a little bit ridiculous that I was sharing with him, we found a rock with microorganisms on it, which proved that life could have existed millions of years ago when already I'm on the planet.
The Caucasian-looking alien beings are servants on these ships.
So do you think there are occupants on Mars right now?
Yes, I do. And I interacted with them. So that's what was occurring at this time. So this individual, he guided me to a computerized map on the wall. And he showed me terrain, mountains, and landscapes, and areas that were occupied. And he pointed one, and I tried to remember the names of them. The only one I could commit to my memory was a place called U. Why U? And he was saying that basically it was a map like we have of Earth, except it was Mars. And yes, it's inhabited, and yes, there are people in this area, there's people in that area, their areas are named, and U was the only one I could recall or remember. And then I was, in that experience, my whole conversation was overheard by another individual who joined the conversation, and she was a black female. And she came out, and I really decided I couldn't comprehend this information. I couldn't really digest it. I wasn't certain how to react to the information that he told me after that, which was that Mars is predominantly black. And I couldn't comprehend that. I couldn't understand that. Mars is predominantly black. And so another woman entered the room who had overheard the conversation, and she reiterated, Mars is predominantly black. And again, I couldn't understand that. I couldn't understand why is she telling me this? What does that mean? I just basically wanted to keep changing the subject. But they were telling me that this planet was occupied predominantly by black people. And they looked at me as though, don't you know this? Don't you remember?
See, Israelites are great people.
We can't call it the red planet anymore.
No. Matter of fact, I didn't see any red.
And here's a book here called Alien Chronicles. Compelling evidence for UFOs and extraterrestrial encounters. Art and text since ancient times. This is what they found on the walls in Egypt. And again, if you check out biblical history, throughout history, you had two types of sightings. In the Bible, it talks about the UFOs being the chariots and the salvation of the Israelites, which is true. But then you have beings who look like this has been showing up doing Native American cultures and other cultures have been seeing these reptilian things throughout history. And you see here Bob Hopkins, he's having a interview on UFO and alien abduction. But the funny thing about it is, when Israelites tell their story, they always have a good story. They never have stories of nightmares and implants and probes being put up in them and things like that. Only Edomites have stories of horrible things happening to them. I wonder why. The Bible also, if a brother can remember the scripture where the angel also calls these chariots the curse. And the reason why they also called a curse, they're a salvation to the Israelites, but a curse to the Edomites and other nations. And if you look at these things, these are the demons, Satan's demons. See, everything that the Lord has, Satan tries to copy. So you had the Lord, his chosen children, which are the Israelites, and you had the Lord's chariots. Then you have Satan, his chosen children, and his dark demon technology, which you had these UFOs and these holograms, and what they're trying to do soon is put into, they can do the Blue Beam project where they can send a hologram and do like a fake rapture. And over here you'll see an Edomite demon with what? A tattoo of a demon all on his back. It's ridiculous, man. And these are two movies that had the truth in them. Fire in the Sky, the story about Travis Walton. They did a job on him. You should see this movie. They did a job on him, man. There's another movie called Forgotten. Now going back to the Israelites, you see this says Peru, the land of UFOs. Now one story in Peru was a Peruvian woman, an Israelite, who said when she was taken up in the UFOs, one thing that confused her, that these people treated her like she was a sister or a family member of theirs. She didn't understand how these men from other planets treated her so well, like they loved her because she's an Israelite, and they are also Israelites in the UFOs. I'm going to also play a clip later on from a UFO interview from an Israelite from Puerto Rico named Amari Rivera. When he was taken up in the ship, he described them and said they were black people and also Puerto Rican people in these ships. But he was told off camera that he could not in no way, shape, or form say that the man was of Negro descent. So what Amari Rivera did give a sign and said the man was black, but shook his head and put his hand through his head nervously and said he was not a Negro. But he was told not to say that. Again, these are the beings that come, that Edomites have been saying have been abducting them throughout history. Here again, this is from the book Alien Chronicles, and on this page you'll see it says Africa, the Dogon tribe. They have a drawing of these demons too coming to them. Here are these demons found in Baghdad. They were stone statues made of them and worshipped by the Africans. Here's a DVD, Reptilian Agenda. This is an African admitting to him and his people been worshiping these things for the centuries. And let you know the U.S. is down with that too. These are old videotapes from back in the day. Visitors from space. Letting you think that these demons are angels. These are demons, not the angels of the Lord. And throughout history, they have tricked many Israelites and other nations into thinking they have technology and they can save the planet. They're here to destroy you. They work for Satan. Here's a super demon right here, this beast, Alexander Crowley. They call it the illustrated beast. He also, if you look in the corner here, he drew a painting saying that he had a visit from this demon. That's how he started to get his power. He became really popular in the satanic community. Here's a drawing of the demon that visited him. And he was known for, he had a high appetite for little boys, and he was also in the satanic human sacrifices also. It's time to wake up, man. Get out of this crap, man. Same thing. Remember the movie? Hangar 18. What do you see there? A demon. And what's this movie about? Demons coming, visiting the U.S. government and giving them technology. And to prove that the government knows all about the UFOs, this says what? Is someone killing our UFO investigators? This is where I got, you can go on this website here, and this is where I got the information from. If they still have it up. Look at the people that they killed. They called them whistleblowers, but they were about to go out and become public with all the information that was going on behind the scenes. Having seances with demons. They're trying now to open up portals to bring through. That's why there's a high rate on crime and craziness throughout this earth. More Edomite scientists is killed by their own government, so they wouldn't talk. Here's another good book called Flying Saucers and the Holy Bible. And this is a scene from drawn from Moses and the Israelites, us leaving Egypt and the Lord in the pillar. That says what? UFOs, God's transportation.
Defense Intelligence Agency. He's their man in Puerto Rico. Yes, and the Defense Intelligence Agency is like the CIA in the military. So he knows what he's talking about.
On the morning of May 14, 1988, Amaury Riviera, a young man from Puerto Rico, photographed a giant disc, followed and circled by two jet interceptors. What makes the sensational pictures even more interesting is Riviera's claim that he had contact with the occupants of this UFO.
Hello, my name is Amaury Rivera. I live in Puerto Rico, and back in 1988, I was working in a nightclub, and there was a musical group there. One of my cousins wanted me to photograph the musical group, and she loaned me a camera with some film. On my way back home, I encountered two small beings, two small strange men, which I didn't think were men from outer space. And they took me somewhere where there were other people besides myself, other human people, like from Puerto Rico, I guess. From here, another human being showed up. He claimed to be from a distant planet. He was dressed in black. He had a dark skin, but he was not a Negro. He had
Look how nervous he got. He was
black hair up to the shoulders.
told not to say he was a Negro.
He spoke to us with the mouth, verbally, and no telepathic speaking. He showed us various projections, which looked very real projections, and he informed us about a whole bunch of things that are even still incredible to me. Then they returned me to...
What did this holographic projection show?
The holographs were mainly, the first one that I can remember was like a short trip through space. We saw where he came from, where he said to be from. We saw his people, we saw the houses that they used. And the second one was about meteor or rock falling to Earth in the near future, which is going to cause a lot of havoc in the world. This would fall, it's going to fall in very near the Caribbean, Puerto Rico, and those other small islands, but it's going to affect the whole world, not just Puerto Rico. The last one is that they projected was showing us how there was only going to be one government on the planet Earth. They'll be living on some sort of artificial island that's going to be floating in the middle of a dark, black, dirty sea. And then this man returned me to my car again and left me somewhere different from where the whole ordeal had started. Apparently, they took me with car and all. After this, at this given time, I heard some jets in the sky, and I still had my cousin's camera, and I took the pictures, 4 of which I'm making public nowadays.
So the jets followed the UFO?
Yes, it was. They seemed to be surveilling it. I only got to capture just one of the jets in the photograph, but there were 3 of them. Or maybe I got in one of the photos one, and in the second or third I got one of the other ones, because they would go around it very far away, and while this one was closer, and turn, very far, very far. And by the time this one was coming back, another one was turning over there. There was always one or the other close to the object, to the UFO.
Jürgen Martin has carefully investigated this case.
Rivera's case is, to me, is a very special one and a very important one, because in Amaury's case, he was abducted and he was taken away by aliens. One of them was human-like, and 2 small creatures that they explained to him were some type of genetic or biological organic android that they made to do some chores outside so they don't have to risk themselves in our environment. That's what they explained to him, the so-called human alien that he saw in the craft. And it's important also because of the evidences that he has on the case, because when he was released, he had a camera with him, and he was able to take pictures of the object that apparently had abducted him, the craft, flying saucer type, and also some jet fighters from the United States, excuse me, F-14 again. In most of these cases in the island, F-14s are involved with these situations of chasing and harassment and checking on these objects when they are seen in the different areas of the island. And he was able to get them in those pictures together. So this clearly, when you see those photographs, it's obvious that the government has been lying for many years, because there's the UFO there, and there's also the jet fighters dealing with the situation, which they denied for more than 40 years. It's there.
It seems we never get to touch the topic on how to profit from the logical use of time, so we can't stop it.